cases dealing with interstate commerce power in Lopez versus U.S. and Morrison versus U.S.
Yeah, that's a gun rights case and a Violence Against Women Act.
Congress attempted to say violent, acts near schools or whatever, guns near schools cannot be used as an interstate commerce regulatory action, even if there is an effect economically down the road.
Right, just a short form for our viewers, in those two cases you mentioned, what the Supreme Court held was that the Fed's power under the Commerce Clause is not unlimited, and that Congress can step in and say you've gone too far. You don't have that much. The courts can step in and say you don't have that much power, Congress. So back off. But because Virginia is not the only state doing this, according to what I read, 34 other state legislatures have either filed or proposed similar measures. So my question to you is, are you attempting to tee this up so that it will wind up before the U.S. Supreme Court? The Fed's trying to enforce what may become law by the end of this week, and you, Virginia, and other states saying, we're not going to do it.
We are anticipating that Congress will still keep these individual mandates in there, despite the fact that the Congressional Research Service has told members of Congress this is completely novel, and this is highly problematic to do this. The Congressional Budget Office has said, Congress, you've never done this before. This is completely unprecedented. Because of the determination with which the Obama people seem to proceed ahead on this matter, we are concerned that they will. It is our responsibility, James Madison said, the father of the Constitution, as state legislators, to defend our citizens against federal usurpations. I'm simply doing my duty under the Constitution.
So, and I got to keep this short, but the Virginia governor is expected to sign this thing into law. So let's say the health care passes here in Washington or down in Washington this week, and then Governor McDonnell signs your bill and it becomes law down there. And if somebody does refuse to pay the fee for health insurance and some sort of adverse action is pursued against them, the state of Virginia will step in and this thing will become a viable legal debate between the state and the feds?
This is how it happens. If I get an income tax return and I'm not paying this fine, I'm not paying the fee, the IRS says to the Commissioner of Revenue for Virginia, done his tax return. The Attorney General, Cuccinelli, steps in and says, don't touch Marshall's tax return. Or if the IRS goes to the local sheriff and tries to say, we want you to sell some property of his, put it up for auction, the Attorney General again steps in and says, you can't do that. We have a law. The Attorney General, it's the Commonwealth of Virginia versus the IRS. We are teeing this up because we are annoyed, and it's not just Virginia. I have never seen such a response to a proposition in Congress that has riled up so many states, liberal, moderate, and conservative. It's across the board, Megan.
I was surprised to see, actually, that even though you're a Republican, you got some wide Democratic support on this. They voted 80-17 on Wednesday to support the measure. So we'll be watching it.
55% of the right.
As I say, it's not just Virginia. It's 34 other states at least looking at it. So, Delegate Marshall, all the best. Thanks for coming on and explaining it to us.
Thank you, Megan.